Hello, my name is Sally, and I'm one of the makeup artists working with Look Fabulous Forever, which is skincare and makeup for the older face. And I have got a very, very special model with me today. Some of you may well recognise Lily Bollinger from our Super Troopers group on Facebook. But Lily won a competition that we ran for our 10th birthday to win a makeover. So I'm a bit starstruck meeting you, Lily, because I have read some of your amazing, brilliant, funny blogs on Facebook. So it's really quite lovely for me to meet Lily. And Lily is 70 years old. Hard to believe. She's looking amazing and beautiful, fabulous. And Lily is cool toned. So we are going to use some really lovely cool tone. Although I have seen you in some really nice bright colours. So I think you are sort of neutral to cooler tones, so can get away with quite a few colours. But we're going to go for some of the slightly cooler shades today on Lily. So we have already prepared Lily's skin. She has cleansed, and we have used our lovely daily SPF 50 plus serum to protect her, and the Smoother Face Day Cream. And we've let those sink in before starting the makeup process. First product that I'm going to use is the Smooth Like Silk Face Prime on Lily. This for me is my first essential item, just to create a really lovely smooth base before putting on foundation. And it will mean that Lily's foundation will stay on all day as she's dancing through the day and last to the night. So we only need a couple of pumps, and it really does smooth out. If you've got any fine lines or any open pores, this product just fills them in. It sort of blurs them, and it's like a decorator would prepare a wall before painting it. That's how I view this product. It's absolutely wonderful. Lily has got a beautiful complexion, so she doesn't need a heavy foundation. But I'm going to use just a tiny bit of Continuous Cover Foundation in shade 02 with a little bit of Light Look Beauty Balm in shade 0.5. And I'm going to mix those together on my hand with one squirt of the face prime. So that's what I've done. I put it on my hand, and I'm now using the lovely foundation brush number 10. And then I'm going to start in the centre and just work my way out. The brush allows you to just make it look super, super professional and airbrushed, because it's got lovely dense bristles. So if you've not tried putting your foundation on with a brush, this is so much easier. What I like to do when I finish is just take my fingers and just smooth everything in slightly with clean fingers. But the brush does most of the work to just really buff the products in. And using a brush also means you use less products. So really important to keep your brushes clean. But once they start to get cloggy, then they don't work as well. So that looks great. Okay. The next product that I'm going to use on Lily is our Cover to Cover Concealer in shade 01. Now, when you wear glasses, which I love your glasses, sometimes glasses can cause a little bit of a shadow under the eyes. So it's often important to use a concealer that is maybe a fraction lighter. You might find that you use the number 2 on areas on the face where you've got sunspots or pigmentation, but you might find under the eyes go a fraction lighter just to create that little bit of light. So I'm going to put concealer certainly in the inner V of Lily's eye, where often we get a little bit of blueness, so that will just brighten that up. I'm just going to stipple it just around this area. Always be very gentle on the area under the eye. And I take my ring finger and just tap. Really important, really, just to be very gentle around this area, the eyes. So the ring finger can do the least damage. So this is the one that if you tap it, it just sort of blends and melts the colour into the base that we've already put on. So we have now created we didn't need to do very much work, to be honest, on Lily, but we have just evened out very slightly and given her a really nice base on which we're going to paint the picture. And I like to set that with the beautiful, very fine translucent powder. This is brilliant because it's so finely milled that it doesn't sit in fine lines. So you can either put it on with a big brush, or what I quite like to do is under the eyes, I like to use the eyeshadow brush number 7 just to tap in the way you've put a little bit of extra. You can sort of just tap that in. And it will just set your foundation or your light look easy balm all day. Really important if you're going to get hot, if you're going to a wedding, if you're going to be dancing, or it's just a really good product for older face, because some powders can just sit in lines and are very, very unflattering, whereas this one is just very, very, very light in texture. What I also like to do before applying the eye makeup is to take a little bit of the translucent powder and just put it just here and here to capture any spillage of eyeshadow. Particularly if you're going to be using a darker shadow, it will just sit onto the powder and then you can dust it away at the end with your big powder brush number 1. Yeah, tip. The product that I'm going to use now is our second primer. We've already used the face prime. I'm going to use Smooth Out Eye Prime. And you need the smallest amount of this, but it can make a massive difference to eyeshadow application. Even if you're not wearing eyeshadow, we tend to get slightly sort of lines, and we also get a little bit of discoloration or little veins showing more because our eyes get thinner as we get older. I only take a tiny amount, conceal those up, just the tiniest amount. It's important to make sure that your eyelids are dry and oil-free when you put it on. So make sure that you've taken off any residue of eye makeup remover or eye cream. But what it does is it will just take away any of the discoloration, and it really does smooth out the eyelids. It's got coconut oil in it, so it's quite hydrating, but it's just gorgeous. And then what it does is if you put eyeshadow on, it stops it from creasing, which is a real problem for a lot of people. So while we are remembering primers, this is the time I like to use the third primer, which is called Never Feather Lip Prime, because it gives it a little bit of time to dry before we get to lipstick stage. So I have already, before we started, I put a little bit of moisturising lip balm on Lily's lips just to make sure. I mean, she's got beautiful lips, but I'm just going to take it, just sort of dab that off. I'm going to put the Never Feather Lip Prime just on the outer edge of Lily's lips, which will help just to stop any feathering. So we're going to start on the eye makeup process now on Lily, and I'm going to use the Cool Blue Trio, which has got 3 really nice colours. It's got soft grey, it's got bluebell, and it's got midnight blue. And these are all non-shimmer shades, which work really well under glasses, although I'm going to possibly use a little bit of shimmer at the very end. I'll show you that later. I'm going to start off by putting the soft grey, which is the lightest one, and I'm going to use my eyeshadow brush number 7, which is the slightly larger of the 2 eyeshadow brushes, and put that all over. Soft grey is a very pretty colour that suits most people. And then he's got a very pretty sort of bluey grey eye, so this will look lovely. So as we get older, you don't want to bring the eyeshadow too far down, so I tend to sort of do it to about this area. Don't be frightened about putting enough. If you're going to put a second colour on, put enough of the first colour on though, so that you don't get any sort of patchiness. And then your second colour has got something to adhere to. I'm going to now use the middle colour, which is Bluebell, and I'm just going to use a little bit of that on the sort of outer corner of Lily's eyes, just to give a little bit of extra definition. So I'm now using the different brush number 9. So this is our eyeshadow brush number 9. So this brush allows you to be a little bit more precise about where you want to put a slightly darker colour, because it's smaller. And then you can go back and blend it with the other one. So I quite like to use this in a sort of a little bit of a V shape or a chevron shape or a number 7 shape, just on this area. Okay, so again, I'm just putting it just above that soffit line and coming down. And this is the point where, when you're doing your makeup yourself, most people panic because it just looks like eyeshadow heavy because you haven't got your mascara on, eyeliner, blusher, lips. But don't panic. I always say don't panic at this stage. It will all come together when everything else is on. Okay, what I'm going to do now, before using the Midnight Blues, I'm going to use soft eyeliner in dark navy on Lily's eyes. She's got beautiful blue eyes, and this is going to give her a little bit of definition, which is quite nice if you're wearing glasses to have that extra bit of definition. Okay, so I like to start just on the outer edge, the last lash, and little short strokes as close to the lashes as you can get. And what I like to do is just taper it so that it sort of disappears. So it's not all the way across, but maybe halfway disappearing into the lash line. I lift it very slightly at that outer edge. These pencils, if you haven't tried them, are super soft. So very easy to use. Very forgiving, again, like the eyeshadows. What I like to do is to set them with a little bit of eyeshadow as well. So I'm going to use a little bit of the Midnight Blue, which is the darkest shade in the trio, over the top, which will just add a little bit more definition. We'll soften it a little bit, and we'll set it because I'm putting a powder over it. So I'm going to now use some Lithe Lash Mascara on Lily, and I'm going to use Black Waterproof. And this is a really, really nice product because it doesn't have little bits in. So when you put it on your lashes still actually feel pliable and normal, but it just coats them and makes them look a little bit darker. So a fantastic product. So let's put some on the top. If you struggle with mascara blobbing, when you do the top lashes, if you hold a hand mirror and look down, you're less likely to catch your lashes on your eye. So you sort of do the opposite. So if you're doing the top lashes, you look down. And if you do the bottom lashes, you hold the mirror up and look up. And again, your lashes will be away from your skin. So good tips for... I'm now going to use another of my favourite products, Instant Bright Highlight. And I'm going to use a little bit of this just underneath the highest part of Lily's brows before I just finish her brows off. But here and a little bit here. So we've got a little bit of light. And then I like to use the concealer brush again, just to blend that in. And this just creates that lovely dewy effect when you turn your head without it looking really obvious and shimmery. Lily already has really nicely defined brows, but I'm just going to fill them in with a little bit of the No Shimmer eye shade in Taupe. And again, I'm using my wedge brush number 8 to do that. So you could use our product Bring Back Brow, but because there's already quite a lot of colour here, I'm just going to make this quick and simple. And this is a really good colour for Lily's brows, to fill in a little bit. I'm now going to just give Lily just a little bit of bronzer. Although she's cooler toned, I just think sometimes a tiny bit of bronzer, but because she's cooler toned, I'm going to do this before the blusher. With a warmer toned lady, I would tend to put the blusher on and then do the bronzer. So I'm just going to... Bronzer looks very scary. It looks quite orangey. It doesn't come out as orange, I promise you. Then just a little tiny bit where you would naturally get sun-kissed. And then you can just use it in a 3 shape, just to give you a hint of a contouring effect and a hint of warmth. So although Lily is slightly cooler, I'm actually going to mix 2 blushes together. I'm going to mix the Peach Cream with the Rosy Glow. Give you that little hint of warmth, but mainly cool. So I'm going to use my finger to start with. So we've just actually popped Lily's glasses on just so that we know where to position the blush, because depending on the size of your frames, you need to slightly readjust where you put your blusher. You don't want your blusher too high or too low. So that's helpful. Okay, so we'll take them off. Thank you. And I'll just start with a little bit of the Peach Cream. Then I'm going in with the Rosy Glow, which is cooler and a bit pinker. So don't be afraid of mixing two blushes together to get the perfect shade for you. I often on myself mix the peach cream with the desert rose as well. Works quite well for me. Then I'm taking my blusher brush number 2, holding it at the bristles quite firmly and just blending it in slightly swirly motion upwards. Everything's sort of upwards with blusher. Lily has the most beautiful shaped lips. Seriously beautiful shaped lips. So I am going to use the Defining Lip Liner in Plumberry, which is a really nice, pretty colour, and it's going to go well with the lipstick that we're going to choose. And this will just give a really crisp edge to Lily's lips. So I'm going to put it on the outside, and then I'm going to fill in as well. And just smile, slightly stretch, lovely. And start in the middle and then work my way to the outer edge. I'm now going to roughly fill in so that we've got a stain of colour. And you're never going to be left with that line around the lips, which is not the most flattering look. So now we're going to use our long-lasting lipstick in Soft Plum, which will look really nice with the Plumberry. I'm using my lip brush number 5. Again, the lip brush allows you to be a little bit more precise when you're putting it on. So we have now finished the makeover on my lovely model, Lily. You have been wonderful. You've been patient, and thank you so much. A pleasure to make up. As I said, I feel like I know you already from Super Troopers. So what we've done is we put Lily's beautiful earrings on. I feel like they are a trademark for you. You have those gorgeous pairs of earrings. If you've got any comments or any questions or anything you'd like to say, we'd love to hear from you below. So thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.